Hello guys and welcome to episode 21. My name is Adam Lobo.
And I'm Vernon.
So this is What the Tech episode number 21, and since last week we were absent thanks to me not being around. So I flew to Thailand in Bangkok to attend a very interesting tech seminar which has to do with the launches from Samsung, because just like the recently visited event that we had in Malaysia, where LG had their bunch of new products. So it seems like it is appliances season. So that's the reason why I was not here in the country. So Vernon was taking a chill pill. But of course, we are back again with some great news. Some news are probably last week's news, which we will probably talk about, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to continue on with the segment which is dedicated for Vernon, which is Who Asked for This?
I dedicate it for the world, not just for me.
That's a good point. As for the tech news roundup for this week, we have Meta and Oakley having a collaboration together. Lots to talk about that.
Very nice, very nice.
Samsung and Apple. First, the story was Samsung, whereby Samsung originally wanted to acquire Perplexity. We kind of talked about it during our previous podcast, but apparently now Apple is planning to do so, which is quite an interesting topic because there's so many questions to ask about that. And the next biggest event which is coming up, which is Samsung's Unpacked, which has been announced officially, which is the 9th of July. We're going to be talking about the products, the rumors, and what we can kind of expect. We'll have that discussions over here. And for this week's Who Asked for This is, of course, the infamous Trump T1 phone.
Amazing.
Wow.
Cutting edge.
A gold color phone.
Gold color.
Wow.
Everybody loves it.
We have our community segment to ask that it kind of relates to the Samsung releases because apparently there will be a rumored Z Flip 7 FE version to make the foldable a bit more affordable for people. So we did ask in the community tab, and again, very surprising results because 70% people said no.
Yeah, very surprised.
We're going to talk about that. What's exciting next week is Nothing Phone 3 is set to launch with the rumored headphones. So there were some leaks about the rumored headphones. So we're going to be talking about that because I'm a little more excited with the headphones a bit more than the phone. But we'll just have to wait and see. And of course, we'll go through the video releases recap during the whole entire week. And of course, this includes the short form content and also the long form content that we had. And also what is coming from our videos here on Adam Lobo TV as well. Okay, Vernon, let's first talk about the Meta and the Oakley collaboration.
Sure.
What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, it's another pair of smart glasses, following up from the Ray-Bans, which I liked. I think you like the Ray-Bans as well. But this is more targeted to more the athletic crowd. So more, the sport and active people. It's called the Oakley Meta HSTN, pronounced Houston, is it?
Yeah.
Is it pronounced Houston? I think so, yeah. So, very different design, less of the more kind of refined look of the Ray-Bans. This is more active, a bit more angular. I'm not a fan of it in terms of design.
Okay.
But in terms of tech, it's actually a step up from the Ray-Bans. You get a better front-facing camera. You've got, I think, an open ear speaker, built-in mics, and it's got a bigger battery. So you get up to 8 hours of use and up to 2 days if you use the case.
That's fantastic.
And also it gets IPX4, making it more durable. I mean, obviously it's targeted to more athletic people. They want to use it, outside, maybe playing beach volleyball or something, right?
Yeah.
So having IPX4 would make it a more durable kind of device. So yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good. They're releasing 5 styles. So not just the one that they promote a lot, which I feel they're like promoting the worst version of it.
I kind of agree.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes with different colors: gray, black, brown, smoke, clear, and also various lenses, including transitions. So quite nice. There's also a premium kind of limited edition with gold accents, a bit gaudy.
Yeah.
Maybe it goes well with the Trump phone. I don't know.
Maybe they built it hand in hand.
Maybe they're doing it hand in hand. But yeah, I've always, like I said, loved the Oakleys. And I think having a smart glass kind of version works for a techie guy. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
First
What
and
do you feel
foremost, I think the idea of the marketing of really pushing that super prism glasses of the lenses and also the white color frame, it immediately gives people a different perception towards Oakley as a brand. I do not know why they use that in the marketing campaign, because as a person who was sponsored by Oakley during my band days, there are so many different types of designs. I do not know why they decided to do this. Probably because they just wanted it to be a bit more wow factor.
Yeah.
But knowing the fact that you got like Kylian Mbappe and you have
that's right.
you have Mark Zuckerberg and all wearing the white color one, they marketed that. Because Oakley is actually very diverse.
Yeah.
They have so many different types of frames, including aviator types. Now, of course, you can't put the aviator into the camera into aviator because it's so thin and all. But they do have very similar to the Wayfarer kind of style of design and all, which Oakley has lots of different ones. I love the fact that there is a sort of a variation, because just when we had announcement with Gentle Monster doing the similar collaboration with Google, I think it's good that the smart glasses space is getting a bit more wider. At least it gives people a bit more option. And I like the fact that they do have the color combination. So you have gray, you have black, brown smoke. I like brown smoke because especially it goes very well with more like a aviator style. But if it's not aviator style, maybe something a bit more of a brown color glasses frame, it'll actually kind of look good. You're right about the specs, because it's crazy, because currently the Wayfarer Meta version can only record up to 1080p.
Yeah.
This can record up to 3K. So I'm sure a lot of people who owns the Meta Ray-Bans like me will be like, bloody hell, that's like huge difference. It's not like 4K. I mean, yes, it's not 4K, but it's still 3K, which is a significant jump compared to previous. I love the fact that they did mention that it is a stronger battery life, because everyone who owns the Meta sunglasses, the biggest complaint is the battery life. Right. So I think having that is great. The open ear speakers has been wonderful. I like the fact that, you can really listen. The leak of the audio is not so massive as well, so that is great. The built-in camera and the IPX4 water resistant is of course a welcome feature. Then in terms of the price, of course we are not going to go with 499 ringgit limited edition release, because it's not for people like us. But what's very annoying and frustrating is the fact that, once again, I don't know whether it's a Meta thing or it's an Oakley thing, because distribution in Oakley in Malaysia has been really great. But the countries that are being supported or being shipped is US, of course, Canada, UK, Ireland, France, Italy, Spain, Austria, Belgium, Australia, Germany, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark. That's all.
Sadly, we're forgotten again.
Yeah, so apparently they will be bringing it to Mexico and India and UAE later this year, but there's no information for Malaysia's release.
They should bring it to Malaysia. We've got nice beaches.
Exactly. But I don't understand why they are trying to market this for the athletes, like you said, because Oakley is not only for the athletes. And I just do not like how they marketed the idea of, like the funkiness.
Right.
Because because that's the marketing pictures, right?
Yeah.
They only showed that. They only showed the white color frame with
But I think it has a pedigree and kind of like surfing, and it was always very attuned to that and that kind of crowd. So
could be like, it's like the snowboarding, maybe, like
yeah,
snowboarding.
so they're pandering to their kind of audience, traditional.
Do you think
audience.
that will work though? I mean, like how much of a people will actually like go into that market a bit more compared to what Ray-Ban is doing with the mass market?
But I think choice is good. Like they have different styles, right? And choice is good. And I feel that when people have that breadth to choose from, then I guess it's okay.
Now that Oakley has released a version of 4K, 3K video capture, do you think that there's going to be another generation for the Meta Ray-Bans? That
I'm sure. I think we've talked about this, that we expect it to improve.
Yeah.
Especially with other competitors coming into space like Google with their smart glasses.
Yeah.
And the advantages of the smart glasses is that it has a display.
Yeah.
Right? Because right now, again, similar to the Ray-Ban. It doesn't have a display.
Yeah.
And you end up being tethered to your phone for other stuff. I mean, you can listen to your music, listen to podcasts and stuff like that, but you need the phone to be able to kind of do that.
Yeah.
So
Even when you
that's the
take
only
pictures and videos, I find myself like a bit lazy to go into the app. I'm like, I must go into the app.
Yeah,
If
that's the thing.
if there's only a way where you can kind of upload it into the cloud and just get it on your phone directly as opposed to doing that. Maybe there's a settings over there.
And how many people would actually be capturing video on smart glasses over a long period?
It is true. It's like owning an action camera. When you own an action camera for the first week, you're taking it out everywhere. You're putting it on your cat. You're putting it on your kid's hat.
Sure.
And then after 1 week, it's gone. It's similar to my case. When I got it, was during Unpacked earlier this year. I came back during Chinese New Year. I was like playing around with Luna and just walking around, just using the.
Yeah.
But that's it. It was
the novelty kind of wears off.
It was eventually novelty because knowing the fact that after you take the shot, you still need to use your phone. So it's like, might as well use your phone kind of thing. It's probably just me, but yeah, it seems like a novelty thing. Yeah. But like I mentioned in the previous podcast also, I bought it because I wanted the sunglasses anyway because my sunglasses broke.
I mean, it looks good like the Ray-Bans.
When I was in Snapdragon in Hawaii. I don't know how it broke, but it just broke. But when I got a new sunglasses, I was like, I might as well just get the Meta Ray-Bans and kind of experience that. But
are they priced the same, $399?
Can't remember, but I got it very cheap on Target.
Okay. Oh, you bought it on
I
Target?
bought it from Target,
Okay.
so that's the reason. It was definitely cheaper, but I think it's about within the same price. But yeah, it does cater to a separate market altogether. But knowing the fact that this is also raising the competition within the AI glasses space, the only thing that is missing is, of course, the screen. But how much of a screen factor do you think that it matters a lot for a lot of users moving forward when it comes to smart glasses?
I feel it's a different pathway. There's one with the glasses and one with not. So I guess Meta is going the way of without the smart glass on it. It highly depends on the use case. For me, I would find it useful if I could derive information instantly on the glasses.
Yeah.
Like wayfinding or, general information with something that I can capture.
Yeah.
Or like instant information about that. I think I find that very useful
Yeah.
without being tethered to the phone. Like I don't have to refer to the phone and look at that while I capture. So it's a different take, and I feel that it's very user dependent. So there are a certain number of users that probably will not use it as I would. So I think that's fine. Yeah.
Since you don't like the design, so if you had a choice, let's not talk about the specs wise. Like if you just had a choice between buying a cheaper version of the Ray-Bans versus the Oakley, which is priced at $399 for the regular ones,
Yeah.
which one would you go for?
Definitely the Ray-Bans.
Okay.
More classical kind of.
You like the Wayfarer design?
Yeah, I like the Wayfarer design. Although, again, I'm a Oakley fan and I used to have Oakley glasses and stuff. So, yeah. In general, I think the Ray-Bans win for me.
For me, I would love to explore the option of Oakley. I just want to see how the other designs are. I'm not going to go with a funky white, but I've always been a fan of Oakley, not because I'm biased, because I was sponsored by them with a band. But yeah, although my wife always says that, the Wayfarer looks nice on me, but I've never been a fan of the Wayfarers. I always like the more bigger kind of frame, the one which really covers the face a little more, or even the Aviators. So I guess we just have to wait and see what kind of frames and color combination, because right now the marketing pictures are not as clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm eager to see. But of course, better specs is great and better battery life is great as well. I started off not bringing the case with me in the car because I just thought that whenever I needed to charge it, I'll put it back at home. But eventually, now it's in the car because I'm like, it's not charged. So I'm just using it as a regular sunglasses as well. So quality has been great. Like I said, the biggest thing that I would highly recommend anyone who wants to get glasses like that, even for you, is the speakers, because I like the idea of traveling long distance. Of course, the battery life sucks, but the idea of you not putting in earbuds, watching YouTube in a plane, or listening
That's
to
true.
music
That's
while
true.
you're waiting for,
That's true.
and you can kind of hear the announcement instead of typically putting in an AirPods Pro or any noise cancellation earbuds. That for me was the biggest yes. So instead of you typically going
Interesting,
out
yeah.
there and getting like a aftershocks bone conduction, this is not bone conductions, but it is still very nice. The leak is not as crazy, and I think that would be great for us. But of course, Meta, I don't know that this podcast will reach out to you guys, but please consider that Malaysians are loving tech too. So that would be for the Meta and the Oakley smart glasses. Let us know what you guys think. That at this point in time, would you go with something that Meta is still producing, or probably something from, like what Samsung is doing, or even what Google is also doing together with Gentle Monster as well. So that would be quite interesting. So let us know your comments in the comment section below. The second news. It's quite interesting because about several weeks ago, we were talking about how Samsung might be...
Episode 19, I think we talked about it.
They wanted to get Perplexity, and I mentioned that I do not use Perplexity at all. You use it a lot for research. So this time around, apparently the rumors suggest that Apple is planning to do a whole takeover to also inject fresh talent and tech into Siri and Spotlight. I think Spotlight is fine. I love especially the upcoming Spotlight features on the Mac.
26, yeah.
Apparently the value is about 14 billion.
14 billion, yeah. Spare change for Apple, by the way.
Yeah, so this could be a bigger deal compared to getting Beats, because you know how they got Beats also, the acquisition.
Beats
But
for 3 billion.
the main thing that I would like to ask you, and we need to discuss about, is the fact that how are they going to integrate Perplexity, and what's going to happen with their relationship with ChatGPT, and by getting somebody like Perplexity, you need to question the privacy, because Apple always talks about privacy. And how and what is Samsung thinking and reacting to this news?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we talked about this again in episode 19, and we're in a very similar space, but with a different brand, right? Now it's Apple, and previously it was Samsung. And you know that Samsung actually already invested a couple of $100 million into Perplexity already.
On what?
Perplexity?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No idea.
So they've funded Samsung. I mean, aside from buying it outright, like what's been rumored about Apple, it's a very similar position, and I think how Apple could integrate Perplexity would be in a couple of ways, very similar to what we talked about when we talked about in Samsung in episode 19, is that they could integrate Perplexity AI as a search engine within Safari, as a Safari browser.
Okay, yeah.
Or we could also embed Perplexity, like you mentioned, into Siri and also Spotlight. And also not talked about could be a Perplexity app that could be a separate app that's within Apple devices, very similar to Bixby and an additional app like ChatGPT on Apple devices. So that could possibly be the couple of ways. Apple buying it outright, it's only 14 billion for Apple's 130 billion in cash, so it's really spare change for them. Yeah. And Apple tends to acquire technology and companies very quietly. They don't like to publicize this. So this is a bit of a weird situation. I don't think they've commented on it.
Yeah.
Right. Openly, anyways. So, but I think given Apple's perceived lack in AI, as we know, we talked about this as well, this could be a step to kind of accelerate the talent and also the tech acquisition.
So if they are going to be, acquiring them, I doubt that it's going to be the similar experience like what's happening with ChatGPT now. Like, for example, like when you ask something and if it's beyond Siri's capabilities, then he said, would you like to get ChatGPT to answer that for you?
Yeah.
Of course, this acquiring happens is that they are not going to say something like that because they kind of already bought the team per se.
Yeah.
So, which means that if they're actually going to acquire, I don't think that there will be any mention from a search point of view, but because it doesn't make sense, right? Because unless, like Beats, the acquisition for Beats makes sense because it's a brand by itself.
Yeah.
A Perplexity is more of the technology which matters the
I,
most.
I think it could be both. There's a very good point. It could be both. It could be Perplexity technology, AI technology that can be integrated deeply into the Apple ecosystem, and Perplexity can still run on its own as an independent company, as a brand, just like Beats. We have technology transfers from both companies, Apple to Beats, Beats to Apple, and you've seen that technology within that independently.
Yeah.
There are a couple of ways to go about it. Apple doesn't really buy. They don't really do big acquisitions. Like Beats was the biggest, 3 billion. I mean, in the old days, we've bought Shazam, we've bought iTunes. It was all technology and talent acquisition, and it's very strategic for Apple. It's always. But if this was a way to accelerate, I guess it is one step to acquire AI tech talent quickly. But then again, I mean, Apple's in the position where it's already publicly said that they are still working on Siri. They are still integrating AI into the Apple ecosystem in a deep manner, and I think we will see the advancements and also the results next year. So,
because I just feel like if they're going to acquire them, number one, they should probably not make it obvious that, okay, now it's another, then you might as well just continue on your relationship with ChatGPT. And I have a very tiny feeling, you see you're smiling already. I think what triggered this could be the Johnny Ive and Sam Altman.
Really, you think so?
Because they're probably like, oh, so now you're working with our ex-designer now, hey? I might be moving. I honestly feel like this collaboration, if it really happens, or this acquisition, it will be the end of the so-called relationship between ChatGPT and Apple. Because it doesn't make sense for you to have a collaboration with ChatGPT if you acquire another AI model.
Yeah, in a way, I kind of agree. But I feel that the ChatGPT collaboration and partnership is very temporary.
Yeah, I also feel so.
Yeah, it's a very stopgap measure, and I feel that they are just stalling to get ready for what's to come.
After you mentioned about how you use Perplexity, I went online and did my research. Apparently, there's over 780 million queries per month.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And
it's still dwarfed by ChatGPT and Gemini.
I mean,
so they have a bit of catch up to do.
They definitely have some catch up to do. It's also because of the ChatGPT has become a household name. It's like a Dettol, an iPhone, AirPods situation, right? Whereby instead of saying, give me my earbuds, give me my AirPods kind of thing.
Yeah.
So now when you talk about AI, immediately the first thing comes to people's head is not Galaxy AI, it's ChatGPT. People are referring to ChatGPT as
the AI, or the Gen AI.
The AI, instead of just referring to it as AI chat box, because ultimately that's exactly what it is. And I just feel like this could be the beginning of the end of the relationship between ChatGPT and Apple if this really happens. Because it's like how when they got the modem team, remember the whole network team?
Intel, yeah.
But it took them 2 to 4 years, I think, for them to finally did their own. So if they're going to acquire somebody, I'm sure they're going to properly make sure that it's going to be properly integrated with.
Yeah, obviously it's going to take time. It's going to take at least a couple of years. But like you say, if this happens and Perplexity is acquired by Apple, it will still run independently as a brand.
Okay.
Perplexity AI will still be there. You can still access it, via your app or web browser. While integration of Perplexity's technologies go into Siri, go into Spotlight, go into the operating system. So yeah, I feel that's the way it's going to go.
I'm going to let you role play for a moment.
True.
If you're Samsung Would you be pissed?
Yeah, I would, but who knows what Samsung is actually doing, because all these are still rumors, right? Although Samsung has actually put in money
Yes, that's what I'm
to
saying.
invest in Perplexity.
So if you're Samsung, wouldn't you like call the Perplexity guys and say, hey, what's happening?
yeah,
I just gave you
Day,
money.
what's happening?
Yeah, I just gave you money a day. So yeah, what is that situation? And if you were Samsung, what would you do in this rumor situation? Would you call Perplexity and call them out?
Yeah, I wouldn't panic, but I'm sure Samsung has a deal somewhere sealed already, if they were serious about it. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of Samsung, Samsung officially announced the Galaxy Unpacked.
It's all about foldables, isn't it?
It
you
is.
Think so? I think that's going to be front and center.
It is the time of the foldables because it is yearly. It's about the month of July.
Yeah.
Before we even talk about this, it's quite interesting because the Huawei Pura series is going to be launching the same time. So that's quite interesting. The rumors for the Pura has already been quite interesting, but we will talk about the Pura series later on when we get a bit more solid news.
Yeah.
But what we want to know is the confirmed lineup, which is to be expected. The 7th generation Z Flip 7. There's a rumor of the Z Flip FE, the affordable one, the Z Fold 7, and possibly the Galaxy Watch 8 and the Watch Ultra.
Right.
Maybe Ultra 2. We do not know. And also, this is the only thing that I'm looking forward to, and I hope that's the case, is the Ultra. Tri-Fold, the G Fold.
Which we talked about
a
little while ago.
So, other than that, they have teased the tagline Ultra Unfolds to make it look like very thin and all.
I don't think you can get clearer than that, right?
Yeah.
So the Ultra is definitely going to come out.
But aspect
like
ratio,
a one more thing.
Okay, you know, like for example, like the OnePlus Open and some of the other foldables out right now, it's still not longer aspect ratio. It's more like a like the Google, the Pixel Fold, and also the OnePlus Open is
square.
It's like a square thing. This still
Which
looks
I prefer,
like the similar.
honestly.
Yeah, same. I am used to it. It's fine, but if they want to do a refresh, besides being thin, don't you feel like they should have at least make it a different aspect ratio? Or because
I agree. Which why I found the teaser very underwhelming because it still looks the same. Ratio looks the same. Sure, it's thinner and lighter, but then what? Nothing much else.
Yeah.
We talked about refinements, maybe no crease, better camera, slightly.
Yeah.
And more AI.
So what's interesting is that one of the videos that I am working on is how Samsung is dominating the smartphone market because of the display. Because while we have iPhones in the top 10 most shipped phones last year, but all the display is Samsung's display.
Yeah.
And
no doubt
going
about it.
deeper into the research, one of my, and I've said this many times in the podcast, is that my favorite foldable smartphone right now is the Oppo Find N5. And I was shocked to learn that is using Samsung's UTG.
Right.
And the crease
Why are you shocked with it being a Samsung display?
Because you know how Samsung's taking so long to make a very thin foldable, taking so long to get rid of the major crease. But the Oppo Find N5, the crease was so great. So you're telling me that
it's going to be even better than that.
Yeah. So I know.
Expectedly.
I know that the hinge plays a huge role, but it makes me feel like, if this is a Samsung display, which means that why didn't you introduce that in the Z Fold 6 already? You have another brand which is using your glass, which is a good news for Samsung. At the same time, it's like a double-edged sword because you go like, well, if you did it for Oppo, why don't you do it for yourself, right? So that is why I was shocked about it. I am more excited that if they're going to at least release a trifold,
right,
the G one, because it's going to be different based on the renders and the leaks. But of course, usually Samsung does not do this. Sometimes they do, like the Ring, they did it. You know, the one more thing kind of thing.
Yeah.
So do you think that they are going to be doing a one more thing, probably like the headsets availability? Because
maybe.
they did do a teaser, but like Project Mohan.
Maybe.
Or
I feel the trifold could be the one more thing.
So you're going to be like an announcement, or they're going to immediately have it available?
I think it's going to be an announcement.
Something like the Edge, right? Where they announced it and then they add it there.
Because I think they need to stagger it. Because you're talking about 3-4 foldables already, right? You're talking about the Fold 7. You got a Flip 7. You've got a FE. Correct?
Yeah.
And then if you have an Ultra, that's 4. And then you've got the G4. Wow,
You know what's going to
There's going to be a lot of foldable devices. I mean, it's nice to see the ecosystem and the portfolio kind of expanding, but sometimes choice is bad.
Because
Too
we
much
need to
choice is
have a proper differentiation between the Z Fold 7 and the Ultra. If you're going to tell me that Z Fold 7 is going to look like the Z Fold 6 and the Ultra is thinner, then we were like, bro.
It's a slightly better camera.
Yeah.
Right?
I hope that it's not going to be the case.
I hope so, yeah.
For the sake of tech world and being tech nerds, I hope that the Ultra is
Real
probably
Ultra.
a tri-fold or something totally different.
I know, yeah.
Maybe a rollable phone or something along the lines, as opposed to the Ultra being a better spec bump than the 7.
Absolutely agree with you.
And here's the thing, speaking of the one more thing, I finally got my hands on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge. It's not going to be releasing in Malaysia. That's confirmed. I spoke to them.
Really, they've confirmed it?
Yeah. When I
Did you ask them why not?
Bangkok. As usual, they said, "Oh, we might." You know how political their answers can
Mine
be.
is not a yes.
Yeah. But when I held the phone, I was like,
No.
it's okay. I mean, it's thin, correct, but it's like
Do you watch Becca's review?
I
of
didn't.
that?
I
Yeah.
didn't.
I mean, she had good things to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are compromises, of course, especially
Yeah.
battery life and stuff like that.
Oh,
But
how's
the
battery
camera
life?
is
How's the
camera
battery
is
life?
pretty.
How was the battery life?
Nah, it's not good.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
It's not
as expected, right?
Yeah, because it's not using a silicon carbon battery anyway.
It is smaller anyway. So.
Yeah. But it's interesting because while we couldn't hold it and it looked thin, but when I held it, I was like, oh, okay. It feels
Wasn't
like
that
a mid-range. It's like a mid-range. It's like the...
It's like an A series.
I just want to say it's like the A70 series, you know, where they decided to cut that off.
Yeah.
It felt like an A73 for me. It's like, okay, it's
Okay.
thin. It's not like very, very thin. Like you say, Oppo did it first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what we really want to hope and we wish for is the fact that the Ultra is something totally different.
Yeah, maybe they'll surprise us and blow us away. I don't know. But in what way? I'm unsure at this point.
Why
We'll
do
have to
you
wait.
think that the Flip is not getting as much love as the Fold? Do you feel like it's not
Actually, I'm
selling
not
as
sure
much?
why.
Yeah.
Because I am a fan of the Flip. Because I feel that a compact form factor makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But again, it highly depends on the user. And some users love the Fold
Yeah.
because it gives you like a laptop or a tablet
I
kind
like
of
the Fold
experience.
more than a Flip, but it does seem like the love is not given enough to the Flip to a point whereby they are saying that it you know what it shows? Instead of them coming up with a Z Fold 7 FE, it's the Z Flip FE. It's like it's saying
I think
that,
it makes sense.
but it's almost like it's saying that, oh, the Flip is not selling well, let's make it cheaper. Doesn't that show you that or says that, or you feel like...
I feel that it's also a reactionary measure, or at least a strategy, to Motorola's Razr 50.
Okay.
Because
what's the price difference between both?
Because that's selling so well. I think it's less than 500
So
USD.
it is cheaper.
It is cheap and it sells very well, and it's even based on reviews that are out there by famous tech channels and tech reviewers. The reviews have been very good for the Motorola Razr.
Okay.
Even if you're not going for the Ultra, this is like a super affordable, I think clamshell or flip kind of form factor that's out there that's actually selling well.
Okay.
So maybe they just want a piece of that pie. I don't know.
Okay. So,
But then our little poll tells you otherwise, right?
exactly.
And I'm scratching my head.
We
at
will
that.
talk about our poll.
I'm
very,
scratching
very
my
soon.
head at that.
So besides the headset, the one more thing. Any other predictions that you have?
No, I think that's enough. Watch.
The re-emergence of the Galaxy speaker. Remember that?
No, I think that audio thing has sailed past already.
Yeah, sad because they acquired AKG though. They can do so much because their audio quality has always been great.
Yeah.
Their sound bars are
But
good.
maybe AKG on its own
earbuds.
can do well. It doesn't need to be Samsung slapped on it. So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So that is Samsung Galaxy Unpacked happening on July 9th. As usual, we will try to cover as much news as possible. Usually we will be having like a early access to the devices to shoot, where usually Leeward and I will go and shoot.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for our first impressions video. Hopefully we can release the video when the launch happens.
yeah, and also there's a special sign up deal for Malaysians based on the article. Right until 9 July from now, 9:59 p.m. I don't know why 9:59 p.m. But if you register interest and you can get a $50 voucher to be redeemed towards any pre-orders of any of the Galaxy devices that are unveiled at Unpacked, and you also get an option to purchase Samsung Reservation Plus voucher for $10, which is a nominal fee, which in turn will unlock a 210 voucher code for the pre-order period.
I like how you just did an ad read.
Yeah, it was like an ad read.
So hopefully, yeah. So you can see our picture there because whenever
Someone's at the door delivering us something from Unpacked early.
So I like how your ad read. So if we have sponsors, means you can
No.
do ad reads, lah.
I'll read the sponsor messages. Sure, no problem.
Exactly. Okay, so that would be for the top 3 news that we have.
Oh, my favorite segment.
Now is the favorite segment. We need to come up with a proper music hit or something like that. Who asked for this? The
Drum rolls.
The main thing about who asked for this, Vernon, is the Trump T1 phone and the Trump mobile. And he also have a very interesting mobile package. What's up?
What's up with that, man?
So yes, who asked for this, Vernon?
Nobody asked for this. I don't think the Americans are asking for this either. So yeah, as you know, Trump launched Trump Mobile is a new MVNO. They're talking about MVNO as if it's something new, and Malaysians are like, oh, what the heck? We have so many MVNOs over the years.
For them.
That sounds cool. But what's interesting is that it's an MVNO that's under multiple networks. So it's AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and they've also announced the 47 plan, which is their $47 per month plan that commemorates Trump being the 45th president, and also campaigning for the 47th. So it's vanity at its best, guys. I don't know.
Yeah, so the 47 plan means that includes no contract, no credit checks, device protection, details unclear.
There's a lot of details that are unclear. And
24/7 roadside assistance.
What?
Telehealth services and international calling. Yeah.
I mean, it's typical Trump, right? He'll just announce anything and it's probably not ironed out properly.
And 24/7 US-based customer support. Woohoo! So you won't have some Indian fella, hello, thank you for calling. So you have like pure US-based customer support, an amazing 47 plan. But let's go down into the specs. To really find out.
You mean the specs for
the phone?
Of the phone.
Yes.
I mean, first impressions of the phone, huh?
Yeah.
Because all we have is just one image of the phone, pretty much, right?
Yeah, a gold color smartphone. Who is asking for a gold color smartphone?
Nobody. I mean, maybe Asians, I don't know. But it looks like a really bad Photoshop job by a Trump intern. The front looks like an Android phone from 2010.
Yeah.
And the back looks like an iPhone ripoff.
Yeah.
So much together.
It's like a Temu version of it.
It's a Temu version, yes. And I think what he's trying to do is like said, this phone is made in America. It's made in the US. But I can guarantee you 100% it's a China phone.
Yeah, which is assembled in the US.
Maybe just the packaging they're putting into the box.
Yeah, could be. So the rumored specs is 6.78-inch AMOLED display.
Yep, 2010
so the question
Android.
is that where are they getting the display from? Because if it's an AMOLED display, means it's from Samsung.
Probably from China.
Yeah, 120 Hz refresh rate. Again, I suspect is Samsung's display. 50 megapixel main camera, plus a depth camera and macro camera.
Your favorite camera in the world. Macro camera.
A 16 megapixel front camera, 5,000 milliamps of battery with power delivery charging up to 20 watts.
At best, I can tell you this is 2015 Android specs.
You know why or not? Because it's a 3.5mm headphones jack. So that is the rumored specs.
God.
Yeah. I honestly feel this is an indirect dig at Apple.
Nah.
You know why? I'll tell you why.
Okay, you tell me
Yes and
why.
no. Because remember when he told Mr. Tim Cook, hey, why don't you assemble and manufacture here in the US?
in US.
And then Tim Cook said that, it's not as easy because, the precision that the Chinese people or the Chinese manufacturers
We don't have the supply chain, we don't have the talent in the US.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So probably he's like, if you cannot do it, I'll do it myself. So that's why it's like apparently overseen by Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump. Where it is
Good luck with that.
marketed to be designed and built in the US. It's $499 USD though.
$500, okay.
Yeah. Which is
You can buy
price-wise,
you can buy a lot of good phones for $499
Yeah.
US.
So but I feel
No, just get a Motorola.
yeah.
Honestly.
That question is definitely who asked for this, and nobody asked for this. I don't know why he decided. I think he just wanted to prove a point. Like I said, he wants to prove a point to not only Apple, but to every other smartphone companies to say, you know what? If you all cannot do it, I'll do it myself.
But as you know, this is not we're not turning this into a political podcast. But as you know, Trump is a showman.
Yeah.
And he plays the media game well. And he likes to announce things even though they're not true.
Yeah.
But I feel this is almost like vaporware. And I don't think anything is ironed out.
So apparently it was supposed to be released earlier, but ended up, he said, later this year. So
It's because of the tariffs, because when they import the China phones,
yeah,
they're
These
getting,
Alama-
they're
so
getting hit
expensive.
with
Yeah.
124%
Yes,
tariff.
exactly. I won't be surprised that suddenly the price goes up higher and he will blame everybody else. It was supposed to be $499, but because these people are trying to play tricks with us,
It's now $799.
$799. Okay, I think if you go to the US, they see this video, that's it.
He's so entertaining, I'm sure.
Yeah,
And
he's a very entertaining president. Thank you so much for it.
and his deep impact on tech, you know.
Yeah, he knows it. He knows it. Okay, going back into our community segment, because this is a question that again we are always surprised with all of the answers.
Very
For those of
surprised
you who are
at
not
this one.
familiar, we always put in a community segment every single week out on Tuesday Malaysian time to ask any questions, and then you can vote on a poll and give your comments. So the question was that now that brands are coming up with more affordable foldable smartphone options, Samsung is rumored to have, as mentioned earlier, the Galaxy Z Flip 7 FE. So obviously price is going to be more affordable. So the question is that whether or not all of y'all at the community tab or even on YouTube, whether or not you would get it. 30% only says yes. 70% said no.
Scratching my head here.
Yeah, so you're scratching your head. I also wondering why, but I also have like a hunch on why is that as well. But let's get your thoughts first.
My thoughts is that aren't we always looking for an affordable phone?
Because that was always the
because
case.
I think the case here is that for foldables, it was always about price because they were always much more expensive than a regular candy bar phone, right?
Yeah.
So if you had a choice and you had a cheaper flip phone, wouldn't you want to consider it? Unless the market for flip phone is really small and therefore you're getting responses like that. People don't actually consider buying a flip phone anyways, whether it's $5,000 or $3,000.
This is why, like I said, the decision that Samsung is doing this is because they feel like maybe the flip is not selling as much as they want to. Because instead of them coming up with a foldable version, which is more affordable, they came up with a flip version.
Yeah.
And still people are like, I don't need it. I feel probably because they are already afraid of their sales. We do have 8 comments over here. The comments are a little different than what is the percentage. We have Eddie said, absolutely, I've been waiting for foldable prices to drop. I can't wait. So that is one of
You have a
people.
fan?
Yeah, so here's Nash Days says, depending on how affordable the prices actually get, because yes, how much is affordable? What is affordable?
I think right now is like already below four grand, right?
Yeah.
Which is leaps and bounds lower than it's a bigger difference than when it was first launched. We used to have devices like 7-8 grand, right?
Yeah.
Even for flips.
We have a comment from Davio. He says that definitely, because now it gives him the opportunity to try a different type of phone. So he said, like, it's definitely a type of phone I want to try next. I had flips, and I'm looking to look at flips. That's one thing I want to do.
Okay. The comment seems to be very different from the poll.
Exactly. But He says define affordable. Yeah. So because affordable for us, basing on the market, is probably different, right? Some people 2,000 ringgit is affordable. Some people 3,000 ringgit affordable. But I guess when Said asked this question, it's more like affordable compared to what's out there. So I think that is what he means by define affordable. So yeah, we have one Dura. Possibly I might get it if the price is justifiable with the features. So far, word of mouth, I've only heard good things about it. Wow, that's nice.
Okay.
Shak Dan says, I want to see at least 6 months of its performance and durability. I'm afraid of the hinges wearing out. Yeah.
Valid point. But foldables have come very far.
Yeah.
From the first gen to now. I think the hinges really last a long time. They're not as fragile as when we once thought it was.
That was my complaint for Xiaomi's Mix Flip, because the hinge did feel a bit cheap.
Okay.
It felt a bit shaky and it didn't feel as solid as how I've seen Huawei's Flip or even Samsung's Flip. And I don't think Samsung is going to compromise on the hinge here. I think the areas that they might be compromising probably the outer screen or the cover screen, or maybe the cameras. I think that's the only way. I don't think they're going to be compromising on the hinges, but good feedback on that. The big digger. Okay, I don't want to say
big digger.
Yeah, the big digger. What's up? Never been a fan of the crease in these foldables have on the display. If they can get rid of that, then yes, I'll be interested. High or low price isn't a huge factor for me. So I guess he doesn't care. He just wants to remove the crease. And the final comment is saying probably not. Foldable still feels like a working concept that is actually than an actual product now. Too many drawbacks to solve a problem.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Good first step would be the screen that doesn't scratch from a fingernail. Yeah, I remember the Flip 2, Lee Hood's Flip 2.
Scratch
he
with
would
the finger.
scratch finger like cow. I don't know how he actually used the phone. But yeah. So because it's a flexible glass, so I guess that is something which is hard to get rid of. But is that something, when you used a Flip or foldable, was that something which bothered you?
The crease bothers me, yes.
Okay. How about the whole idea that it's easily scratchable with a finger?
Like I said, it's improved a lot, and I don't think it's such an issue nowadays. Durability has improved by leaps and bounds, and I don't find that as a valid kind of point. But what do you think about this poll? Are you kind of surprised, or what were you expecting?
I am not surprised by the poll. I'm not surprised from my personal opinion, but I am surprised with the results, because I thought that all of them will prove me wrong, kind of thing. You get what I mean? Because for me, this is how I would answer it, but I wouldn't think that people would react this way.
Right.
Because I honestly feel the Flip, especially from Samsung, has not been pushed as much. 2 years ago, Unpacked was in Korea, and in Korea it sells like hotcakes.
Okay.
Right? Probably in our region not as much. Probably globally is not as much. And like what you said, there's so many different types of options, like from Motorola or even Xiaomi and the rest of the world, which is affordable, and it at least takes more screen real estate, right? So that could be why it is like that. And I think people still do not want to explore that because of the fact that a lot of people are bothered by the crease. I am not so bothered about the crease. But I know that we live in a day where a lot of people does feel like the crease is annoying. The only time I comment on the crease is because as a tech reviewer, we want to compare the crease with something else. Other than that, I'm fine with that. So for me, this is how I would answer it. But yes, I'm totally surprised that people are still not considering getting a flip or a foldable, even if it's a smaller price factor.
Would you expect a different result if you changed that to a Z Fold 7 FE?
Yes. Because...
Do you think people will buy a cheaper fold?
Yeah, if it's a cheaper fold, imagine if a fold, so you want to say define affordable, right? If they come up with a cheaper fold, which is maybe about 4,000, 5,000 ringgit.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, what? So I get a foldable for 4,000, 5,000 ringgit. I don't have to buy a candy bar phone. Then it's fine.
It's like 2 displays for the price of one.
Exactly.
I think.
And it's like, and it's almost like a tablet form, and then you kind of put it. So I feel like that's a bit more user-centric or a bit more user-friendly to kind of expand from that. So probably it could be that's the case, right? Because even if you just say the affordable is just at 3,000 ringgit, or because it's just 1,000 ringgit lesser, right? I still feel like, because I'll just get and people's perception over the flip has always been that it's not the highest specs.
Yeah.
So I might as well
smaller battery, blah, blah,
smaller
blah.
battery and all that kind of stuff. So I might as well just get a fold, or I just get a normal candy bar shaped fold. So that would be for the community segment for this week. And as usual, be sure to stand by. We'll be asking the poll every single Tuesday, Malaysian time, Tuesday afternoon or so. What's exciting next week? We have the Nothing Phone 3 launch and the rumored headphones. We are all excited with the headphones because leaks were out.
Yeah,
we saw it. Vernon says that it reminded him of something, and then we finally realized what it was. It looked like a cassette.
Yeah, cassette tape, yeah.
Lihud will put some images online that we found, or the leaks.
But it's nice that Nothing is finally doing headphones. Because like we said, Nothing as a brand started with headphones.
Yeah.
As in, started with audio products.
Yeah, because the audio team has always been great.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting because just last week, somebody asked me about what is my best audio sounding earbuds. And my answer is the Nothing Ear 2 because it sounds really, really good. And it does not give me ear fatigue compared to using like the AirPods Pro, for example. It really sounds very good. Audio quality is great. You can really tweak it properly. And if there's one company who can kick Sony in the butt, would be Nothing, because they have a very, very strong audio team as well. So yeah, we are excited for that. And as usual, we will see what is coming out for the Nothing Phone 3. There's the rumored glyph matrix, which means that instead of it having the glyph interface lights, apparently that the lights is not going to be there anymore. It's going to be like a matrix screen, similar to like
matrix,
what Asus does it. Whether it's going to be in the middle, at the side, we do not know yet, but we will have to wait and see. As for video releases, we released a video on the Huawei FreeBuds 6. A very good earbuds, amazing audio quality when it comes to recording. You actually asked in the video, which is a very good question, about how the AirPods didn't, like it always flew off. Tell us your experience about AirPods 3.
AirPods has been very embarrassing. Why? It's like when I was on the LRT and the train jerked, my AirPods flew down.
Wow.
From my left side. So I bent down to pick it up and my right fell down. So I was like picking up my AirPods from the ground and in a like moving train.
Like a sotong.
It was like so embarrassing. But honestly, they never fit me well. The standard AirPods. AirPods Pro, perfect because of the silicone gel stuff. So I was very intrigued by the FreeBuds 6 because they don't come with silicone buds, right?
They come
teardrops.
One thing which I wanted to tell you is that it comes with a rubber tip, but it's not like ear tips which comes out. It's just more like a condom, like you kind of put it on top of it to kind of just hold on to it.
Okay.
But I never find myself needing that. The AirPods 3 did come out for my ears, especially when I was working out or when I'm sweating.
Right.
And that's my only complaint about this because it's a glossy finish for the white. but the black and the purple is matte finish, so
Cool.
that is fine.
Quite impressed by the specs as well. I mean, dual drivers,
Yeah.
mics, that kind
The
of stuff.
mics is really mind blowing, and the audio quality, especially for like an open style, the bass was really mind blowing. That was actually really, really good as well.
Also very surprising, yeah.
Yeah, I think that. But the thing is that while you said that you found the regular AirPods or the AirPods 3 at this point in time came out from people's ears easily, there are people like MKBHD, for example, who
Yeah.
cannot take the silicone
Right.
ear tips.
Right.
So it's quite interesting how we do have a contrast on
Yeah.
different opinions on that. So yeah, that's nice. Last week, as I mentioned, we went for the tech seminar in Bangkok where they unveil several appliances. The most notable one is the fact that you can use your voice to open a fridge. That is
Open
so
the
smart.
fridge.
Yes. Because
How does it open? As
so
in-
you tell, hey Bixby, open the fridge.
and there's a hinge that.
No, so it opens the fridge, like literally. So
Wow.
you just whisper outside the fridge. Say, hey Bixby, open fridge, and it opens. And you can that's not the only way. You can also use your hand to tap or use your elbow to tap, like a kickboxing thing. Because just imagine your hands are tied.
Yeah.
Especially if you're staying alone and you don't want to put it down and then you just like pop and then it actually opens. That's cool.
Okay.
They have the robot vacuum which can detect liquid types. So sometimes when they do, although they mop and then they vacuum accordingly, it's nice that they know, okay, there's a liquid here, so probably I'm not gonna mop yet. So I'm gonna avoid it and later I come back. So that's pretty smart.
All right.
The laundry AI, that is also very interesting. Now you can just dump whatever you want to put it in. You don't have to worry about how much soap I want to put. The AI will tell. There's a similar technology which LG has done for their washes as well. So it's interesting because we always talk about smartphones and tablets and laptops. It's nice that the appliances, things that we do every single day is great. So it was a very good tech seminar. I've also got the privilege to sit down with Darren Tay, who is the head of appliances in Samsung, Oceania, and
Cool.
Malaysia and Singapore. So check out that video. It is out both on YouTube and also on Instagram as well. And also stay tuned for my upcoming video. This one is something which I'm taking my time to do it, which is a story to talk about how Samsung has started and dominated the industry, especially from a display perspective as well. So that is what we have for this particular week. A lot to talk about. A little more technical in terms of how we see things, which is great because it's a good combination of the conversations that we have. But of course, if you guys have any other things that you want us to talk about or any things that you feel like you want us to discuss, or if you have any feelings or any thoughts about the discussion that we have today, do let us know in the comment section below as well. With that, we like to say thank you so much for watching and listening for What the Tech episode 21. My name is Adam Lobo.
And I'm Vernon, signing off. See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.